Hello and welcome to Topicality. I'm Neshun Etheridge and I'm the president of Prairie View A&M's debate team. And
my name is Antonious. I am the secretary for Prairie View A&M's debate team.
So this is PVAMU TV's very first political show, and it's really important to us because it's important that we be politically engaged on our campus. Even in the smallest of ways, we need to know the biggest political events that are happening, and we need to make sure they're digestible and we can understand them.
At a historical black college university that has, for time and time again, dealt with issues like voter suppression, it is imperative that we have a stage and a platform for us to talk about issues like politics in our area. We have two students currently serving on the city council here in Prairie View. Beto came when he was running for the state senator, for the senator Texas, came to our university and spoke to us. But this is a very pivotal time in politics in Prairie View and in Houston. This is why this is so important to us.
For Prairie View, we're really focused on helping our students, and how can we help our students if we don't know how the system within it works? So it's really important that we understand this. So with that, let's get into our very first topic. It is the 2020 election that is happening very quickly and sooner than we would ever expect.
In most countries, they actually have like a period where you can do your politicking or your running for your seat, and it's about 6 months out. The United States is the only place where we've done something like this before, where a year and a half out or longer we started to run campaigns.
And a year and a half is incredibly early. Do you think it's too early for these people to be announcing so heavily? Because it's a lot of people.
I think it is too early, but I think they're at an unfair advantage because the problem was Donald Trump started running his campaign right after he got elected. So I think starting January, February 2017, he started doing campaign rallies for his campaign. Therefore, anyone who is running is behind the eight ball when it comes to raising funds.
Which is why so many Democrats are announcing right now.
Yes, because they got to raise all the money, fight among themselves for the money and things like that.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to have any trouble raising money? Because I worry that because there's so many Democrats, it's going to be super divided. Do you think money's going to get too spread out? Things are going to be a little hard for them?
I think money will get spread out, but I think as people fall out, as we realize some people have no chance of winning.
Some people do have no chance.
Cory Booker. So therefore, as that happens, money will get consolidated and don't go to the top person of the Democrat committee.
Who are you thinking is the top person?
Well, he hasn't started running yet, but I think it's Beto or Joe Biden.
Beto or Joe? Two people who have not announced are your front runners.
Everyone who's announced now is trying to get in front of Beto and Joe Biden announcing. Elizabeth Warren's cool. I think her Native American scandal is a huge issue.
That's the only reason people know this woman.
And Kamala Harris is going to have an issue getting black people outside of California to elect her because of her record with criminal justice, which I think is overblown, but it is true. And Cory Booker's thirsty. So
you just named two women. I'm not 100% sure that America's ready to vote for a woman.
I mean, they could be. A white soccer mom from suburbia probably could do it. So you're thinking Amy. I'm forgetting her name, but it's Gillibrand, something like that.
Yes.
And then Kirsten Gillibrand from New York is probably a good candidate, and the woman from Minnesota is a good candidate. Elizabeth Warren is not, and Hillary Clinton was way too connected to Bill and all that type of stuff. Yeah.
But we will get back into this in a moment, but we're coming back we're going into a commercial break, and we'll talk about some current events, and then we'll get back into the 2020 election. See you in a sec.
Traditions are not made overnight. They are created through a legacy of excellence and a commitment to something much greater. For more than 135 years, Prairie View A&M University has provided students with a strong academic foundation, a unique college experience, and the opportunity to make their mark on the world. This is a place where friendships are formed, discoveries are made, and dreams are realized. This is Prairie View A&M University, our tradition, your opportunity.
Welcome back to Topicality. My name is Antonious Brown. This is Neshun Etheridge. As we talk about the current events currently, we're starting with the scandal in Virginia. I have never seen a Commonwealth act so rowdy. So basically start off...
It's a tidal wave of trash.
Yeah, so if we could start off, it kind of starts in New York. So in New York, they passed a abortion bill that allowed for a woman to get a third trimester abortion. Instead of needing 3 doctors to approve it, only 1 doctor. Now, it does still need to be issues of where the mother's health or the fetus is not viable before she can get a third trimester abortion. So
I really want to make this super clear. People on the internet are saying you can get an abortion at 9 months. That is not what is happening. If you're having a stillbirth, if giving birth to this baby is going to kill you, if it's going to kill you and the baby, then some doctors can agree to have an abortion. This is not, we're murdering babies right out the womb. This is an actual thing that needs to be discussed.
There's less than 1% of all abortions that happen are these type of abortions. These are very sensitive and very hard issues to deal with, and having 3 doctors to approve it just made things worse for these women. So a state representative in Virginia tried to introduce this bill. A Republican lawmaker asked her questions about it. He kind of cornered her into a position where she said, oh, well, yeah, you can have an abortion until 9 months. Then State Governor Ralph Norton, who is a pediatrician doctor, went on to a radio show, tried to explain the process, but whenever people hear about abortion, they get insane. So then a right-wing website produced a picture of his medical school yearbook where he's wearing blackface next to a person in a Klan outfit. Now, the crazy thing is that first he admitted to it, then he said it wasn't him, and then he said, well, I've wore blackface before, but it was for a Michael Jackson costume, which, I mean, Michael was not,
That's all that needs to be said.
Then the Attorney General came out and said, oh yeah, I also wore blackface because, you know, that's the cool thing to do.
Let's note that these are all Democrats.
Yes. Virginia Democrats. I mean, and
a special brand of Democrats, as we can see.
So the Attorney General came out and said he did it also for a Curtis Blow outfit. So I've never even heard of Curtis Blow
Is it
song.
worth it, is my question, because no.
These are the breaks. Then Lieutenant Governor Justin Fax, who's a Fairfax, who's a black lawmaker, and he's the lieutenant governor. He got in trouble because he's facing allegations of sexual assault from a woman years early 2004. A professor at the University of Stanford who says that he tried to force her to perform oral sex on him at the Democratic National Convention in 2004. Serious allegations. The problem is the fourth in line. So the governor's in trouble, the lieutenant governor's accused of sexual assault, and the attorney general said, I dressed up as Curtis Blow. The fourth guy in charge, the Speaker of the House for Virginia, the House of Delegates, he's a Republican. The race to which he won was so close that they picked his name out of a hat, which does not sound very democratic to me, and he has vowed to undo all abortion steadfast progress that they've made in Virginia if he gets the governorship.
And it's always hard to make progress in Virginia.
Yes.
Especially for abortion.
What do you think? Do you think they should resign, or how do you think this process should work?
I think this is already political suicide that's happened. There's been, they like to say this, assassination of character.
Yes.
And if they don't resign, I feel like they're about to be sniped by public opinion, and they'll be forced into resignment because they set a trap for themselves, and they have fallen for their own trap.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think they should resign?
I think something really weird is about to happen because Virginia is such a close state. The state Senate is, I think, 2 seats separate the Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah.
The state House is the same way. In 2019, all state senators and all state House of Delegates members are all up for re-election. So it's about to be a nasty election down there. And I think the Democrats are not going to ask for the resignation of the governor or the attorney general. The lieutenant governor is a very interesting position. The lieutenant governor's rape allegations seem to carry more weight than the blackface. And
Because that is it's a really like heinous blackface that's happening. Because it's not good.
Yeah.
It's so terrible.
Yeah, and then it cuts deep, but also it feels as if didn't we kind of already know white people were doing that in the 80s?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Usually it's not surrounded by KKK members, though.
Yeah. And I think some black people in Virginia are making the case that the governor and the attorney general can stay because we already knew white people were using blackface. We just saw it in picture, but Fairfax has to go because of sexual assault allegations.
That is a must.
Yeah, but some people much smarter than me say they question whether or not Fairfax should be pushed out so fast, and whether or not there should be some type of investigation first before he's pushed out. I think it's a very sensitive topic to kind of talk about like that.
And all of these, it should be investigated. It should be looked into because some people like to say, "This is what is it that the Republicans are sending this woman to try to tear them down?"
Yeah.
Which
makes no sense.
Yeah, it's a big conspiracy theory that I personally do not believe. But let's move a little bit away from Virginia. What's happening is a fire that we cannot put out.
Yes.
And let's look more into the 2020 election because maybe our future president will know how to deal with these terrible things that are happening in Virginia.
I don't think so, but yes.
The first candidate we're going to talk about is Cory Booker. You may know him as the first black senator of New Jersey. It's very prestigious of him to get that, and he's also supported many things like criminal justice reform, and he recently was in support of the Green Initiative. And
the new Green Deal?
Oh, I'm sorry, the Green Deal.
Yes.
And as Tony likes to say, he's very thirsty.
Yes, Cory Booker's been running for president since he became first became a senator of New Jersey. He's also heavily connected with big farms, like big pharmaceutical companies. So when he was pushing for marijuana legislation, he was pushing for it to go through pharmaceutical companies, which we saw anything about the oxycodone. Yeah, the big pharma is bad, and also the heroin addicts and oxycodone issues are just going to be more prevalent if you allow them to take over marijuana also. I do not trust him. I don't really like him, and I definitely feel as if he's not very genuine because the new Green Deal is not a great idea.
I heard there's been a lot of lies said in the fine print about this new Green Deal.
A lot of lies were said and a lot of mistruths, and no one to fact check them. Instead of him waiting to figure out what was actually happening, he jumped on a train.
Oh, you think he's a follower? That's what you're saying.
Yes.
And our president cannot be a follower.
Even though our current one is definitely a follower.
Well, that's more than true. Now, do you know anything about Julio Castro? I'm sorry, I just butchered your name, and I apologize.
Julian Castro.
Yes.
He's a Mexican American from San Antonio. He's got a very good. A good lane to run in, put it that way, right? So he has constituents of Latin and Hispanic Americans. That's very good.
Especially now?
Yes, the Democratic Party definitely needs someone like him with the things that Donald Trump has been saying. However, I don't think he's run anything to the size and magnitude of a
You don't think he'll have the support or the power?
Yeah, I don't think he has the support, the power, the groups enough to connect him to it. I don't think he has the support of the establishment Democrat Party to actually win. But I think whoever wins his support is going to be very important. So wherever he throws his support behind when it comes time for the primaries, that person should look towards having a leg up and winning.
Now let's talk about Kamala Harris. She is a Democratic senator for California whose campaign has been focused on healing the nation. Her campaign, what's the platform she's running for is for the people. And this includes criminal justice reform and, as she states, taking down Wall Street banks. What do you think about her? Because I'm a little worried because as we saw with our previous election, we're not ready for a woman president.
So she's biracial. She's from California. She checks off a lot of the marks. She's actually part of the Divine Nine Greek fraternity.
She's a
she's a AKA. So she really taps into all the the check boxes for black people. But I think the problem is her current record in California as a state prosecutor as a state attorney general before she became the senator really is shady. There was a woman who tried to get a operations for a transsexual woman trying to get an operation basically, and she blocked that. She locked up more African American men than anyone else in the state's history.
That'll really make it hard for you to secure the vote.
Yeah. But I think the problem with that is that's tricky because California's government politics, while we think it to be liberal, when it comes to criminal justice, they're more conservative, and therefore she was kind of just doing her job to stay in position of power. But yeah, I don't think America's ready for a woman president, yet alone a black woman president.
That is incredibly true and incredibly sad, but we will be back in a moment with more content, so see you soon.
Prairie View A&M University is about the students. Students don't just come here for the education. They come for the faculty, for the creativity, the camaraderie, an excellent standard of living, and the school spirit. They come here to gain something profound and to give something back. Students come for the tradition of excellence. This is Prairie View A&M University. Our tradition, your opportunity. Prairie View A&M University is about the students. Students don't just come here for the education. They come for the faculty, for the creativity, the camaraderie, an excellent standard of living, and the school spirit. They come here to gain something profound and to give something back. Students come for the tradition of excellence. This is Prairie View A&M University. Our tradition, your opportunity.
Okay, so we have to close it out. We could not get to every political candidate, but I swear we will in the future because we want you guys to be able to make the most informed decisions. Just because we didn't talk about everyone doesn't mean that there's not information out there about them. And once again, I'm Neshun.
I'm Antonious Brown.
And thank you for watching Topicality today, and we'll see you next time.
Make good choices.